Okay, I got a folder here called Magic, and in it I have a magic card, PNG. I have a gradient background that I downloaded off ArtGrid, and it's just video of an animated gradient, as you saw. And then I have one more video that I downloaded of some flames, just some cool looking fire that kind of fills the screen up. And then I have this background that I made that's 1080p, made it to match the frame size, gave it a little Gaussian blur. It's just got a cool look to it. So we're going to drag all these, we're going to drag them into our timeline here, or into our bin, I should say. So we're just going to let these import real quick. All right, I'm just going to grab the gradient background and drop it into my timeline and let that create the sequence there. And then I'm going to grab my magic card PNG and I'm going to make it the same length as the gradient. Then I'm going to make the magic card PNG and I'm just going to give it a little bit of animation. So I'm going to drag it over here, position, rotation, and then I'll go to the end of my timeline and we'll have it move over to here and rotate. And then when we play it through, it'll look like this. Just to give it a little movement, just to let it do something interesting. Okay, I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to drag up on this layer to duplicate it to create two of them. I'll turn off this top one, and then on this bottom one I'm going to go to Paint Bucket, and I'm going to go ahead and drop in that effect on the bottom one, and then I'm going to scroll down here and look at some of my parameters. Let me undock this so you can see as well. And let's look here. We're going to come down to Fill Selector, and we're going to switch this to Alpha Channel, and then we're going to switch the solid to white, and then we are going to turn the stroke to spread, I believe it is, and now we can adjust the size of the stroke with our spread radius. So if we start that out at 0, we'll turn back on our top layer, and then as we increase spread radius, we can make this the thickness that suits us. So let's go with, you know what, let's go with it nice and really thick so we can really see what's going on under there. So I'm going to drag this back up here. I'm now going to go ahead and right click in my bin, new item, black video, okay, and then I'm going to drag that underneath of that layer we just made. So now if I turn off my card, this is what I'm seeing. This layer and this layer are making what we're seeing on the screen here. I'm going to go ahead and select these two, right click, nest, and we'll call this our Luma Matte. And we're going to hit OK. So now we have our card here at the very top. Underneath that we have our Luma Matte. Then we have an empty layer here. And then we have our gradient background at the very bottom. If we turn off our Luma Matte and Magic card, that's the gradient background. That empty layer, that is where we are going to go ahead and drag in our background layer. And now if we go ahead and turn on this Luma Matte, then we're going to go over and we're going to pull up the effect MATTE key, track matte key. That's what we're going to drop on, track matte key, and we're going to drop that onto our background layer. Then we're going to go to our track matte key effects. We're going to select video. Since our Luma Matte is on track V3, we're going to set this to video 3. And now see where it says Matte Alpha? We're going to set it to Matte Luma, and then it's going to key based on what's black and what's white on our Luma Matte. And then this is the result we're now getting. So if we invert this, let's just go ahead and check the box next to reverse. We are left with this result now, which ultimately lands us with, we turn back on our top layer and boom. That is the look we are going to end up getting as a result there. And here's what I love about this is that we're making a transparent stroke. So you can have a gradient, but look, if I delete this gradient background base layer and then I turn on the transparency grid, you can see what's happening here. This is empty, so we can fill it with whatever we want. And that brings us back to that fire layer that I had before, because now if I take this layer, drop it underneath everything, and maybe scale it up and move it around to my taste. If we turn off all these other layers, we can see this is what we're getting. Turn all these layers back on. Now we get this look. and that key is following the magic card because it's literally a duplicate of the magic card. Now this seems all really complicated to set up, but understand that once you have this set up, it's going to be so fast and easy to duplicate. It's just going to be a matter of copy and pasting the settings. So we're going to do that one time right now, and then we're going to wrap this video up. So let's drag in 2 new items. First, we are going to drag in this lovely shot right here, which when you're doing the track matte key, it will have some funky results if your background doesn't match the size of your frame. So if this is scaled up and then it's repositioned like up or down, you're going to get some weird results, or if it's just simply not the right size. So to avoid that happening, I'm going to scale it to the position I want it to be. And then what I'm going to do is, and I'll even position it upwards like this. And then I'm just going to nest this layer. So let's go ahead and nest and call this bikini. I don't know how to spell that word. Did I spell it right? Bottom. Okay. And then let's drop on our little friend here. We all knew what was coming here. So we'll scale him down and we'll just give him a little quick walk across the screen, shall we? Let's start him over here, position, and we'll end him right over here. And then along the way, he will walk up and down. Okay, let's go ahead and see what this looks like playing through. He's just cruising along, isn't he? That's nice. Okay, so again, we're gonna select that layer, hit Alt, drag up. Now we have a copy of him. That top copy we're gonna turn off, and then let's grab bikini bottom and pull it down for now. Pull down the bikini bottom, and then we just have this layer. And now this is what I mean by copy and pasting. We don't have to sit there and go find our paint bucket and drop it onto there, and then try and figure out our parameters and try and do all this stuff. Oh, what was it again? What do I set this to? What do I set that to? All we're gonna do is go into this original Luma matte we made, select the magic card, and then we're just going to grab the paint bucket, hit copy, go back in to our main timeline, select our bottom SpongeBob, and hit paste, and there we go. We're all set. Just that easy. It looks like I am getting cut off because of the PNG layer. I'm getting a little bit cut off here from if I turn off this transparency grid, because of the shape of the PNG. See how the shape of the layer kind of cuts off at the top and the bottom? We're getting that same issue where there's a straight line cutting off at his feet and his head. So let's go to, I don't know if they have grow browns in Premiere. I think that might be an After Effects only thing. Interesting. Well, worst case scenario, if we just need to fix our PNG in Photoshop and make sure before we even start setting up in Premiere, let's just make sure that all our PNGs have a little bit of wiggle room around the borders of them, shall we? So when setting up, just make sure that all your PNGs have a little bit of headroom, and that should be fine. So we'll call that good. We'll go ahead and make sure that he's centered. Alrighty, there we go. And if we save, then now you can see those problems have been resolved. Again, grabbing our black video, dropping it underneath, and now we're gonna take these 2 layers, which are this white layer right here, and then a black layer underneath. We're gonna take those 2, select them. We're going to go ahead and nest Bob border. That's what we're gonna call it. Drag up Bob border and then right underneath him. And again, from before, we don't have to worry about adjusting our track matte key information. We're just gonna grab it from our original background. We're gonna hit copy and we're gonna hit paste. And now we have a hole where SpongeBob used to be, and we can see that here. And it animates just how we want him to. And then if we turn on our top SpongeBob layer, there you go. And again, we'll drop in our gradient background, and looks like it might not be long enough. So we're going to make it half the length and half the length. And then we'll just throw on a cross dissolve. A nice cross dissolve right there. Now when we play it through, oh, we should turn that layer on, shan't we? There we go. All right, hope you learned a lot. Good luck on your mission. And that's gonna wrap this video up.